It's time for the 259 Show, a weekly podcast that can be found on our website at www.the259show.com or on Facebook and Twitter at the 259 Show. Today's hosts are Joe Peachy.
No, I haven't contacted Michelle because she'd be on the next flight to New York City. So.
Mike Vincelli.
Chelsea's not a girl. This is the name of a soccer club.
Hate you, Chelsea. Broke my heart.
Tyler Diedrich.
I wonder if they have waffles. Ha ha ha. They do.
And Andy Fowler.
Out of all of us here, I feel like I'm balding the most. I got a big spot up on top, and by growing it out, I feel like I'm trying to cover it.
Here's your host, Andy Fowler.
Welcome to the 259 Show Live, episode number 61, the March 10th, 2018 edition, coming to you live from the Southeastern Studio, 259 Studio in Hilton, New York. Mike and Sally, Tyler Diedrich in studio, and joining us live via the Flower City Printing Hotline from Astoria, New York, where the Bonnie Pride is shining high.
Booyah!
I heard there's a Bonnie Bar trip coming up later today. Joe Peachy coming to us through our Flower City
I will be
Printing
making
Hotline.
my second appearance in 2 days
to a Bonnie
at
Bar.
the bar known as Rathbones, in which all of New York City's Bonaventure Pride will be converging upon to watch the Bonnies play Davidson.
All 50 people.
What's the story behind Rathbones?
Well, you know, there's
I
the
don't know what it is.
Rathskeller.
Was
The
that
Rathskeller is
Friar Rathbone?
there is an on-campus bar at Bonaventure that's called the Rathskeller, and I don't know anything more than that.
Oh.
I don't know.
I thought it was
this Rathbones place, I think-
Rathbone.
I think the bartender is a Bonnies alum, so he just puts the game on, so people just go.
Yeah, so we're bringing the high heat.
No, I don't
today.
think it has any affiliation.
We're bringing the high heat. We got a lot of stuff to talk
A lot
about.
of stuff real quick, guys. Let's go. How's team morale today? How we doing? Going live. We're back on our Saturday morning slot on our website, the259show.com, Facebook and Twitter at the259show. You can listen to this podcast and many other episodes, excuse you, Joe, through the iTunes podcast app and Google Play Store. Team morale, how we doing?
We're doing it live.
Great.
Do it live!
We're going to start with some breaking news.
Wow,
Tyler.
breaking news. This is
real quick.
This is. Oh, by the way, if you're listening to us today, feel free to comment on our Facebook page.
I've got our Facebook and Twitter open.
We will
as
we
well.
will interact.
Love engagement.
Breaking schedule conflict news, and I think the residents here who own our studio are going to appreciate this news. This is some breaking schedule conflict news. Now, of course, there was a hearty debate. This was probably back like right after Christmas about the the conflict between Andrew Fowler's wedding and Tyler Diedrich's flag football championship game. I want to let you know.
Oh, dear.
I want to let you know.
You don't know how much angst this caused. This is this better be good news, Ty.
We even had a post about this. Drew put up a poll.
Yeah, this was on his personal Facebook page.
Drew, what were the poll results that day?
It was like
Take it down.
95-5.
Oh, I was
In your
hammering. I was
favorite?
hammering him. No, I was.
You won.
Oh, I was.
I remember I wanted to show Erin what the poll said. She was like, "What is going on?" I'm like, "Just look at this poll." She's like, "It's not there." I'm like, "Drew, did you take it down?"
Yep.
He's like, "Yeah."
The poll was heavily weighted in Tyler's favor, if I recall correctly. Anywho, it's all for naught now because the flag football season will be starting 1 week earlier this year. Thus, the championship game will be 1 week earlier.
So instead
the
of
week
missing-
before Andrew J. Fowler's
Instead of
wedding.
missing my wedding, you'll still miss Joe Peachy's wedding.
Listen, I will not miss Joe Peachy's wedding unless I decide to go all the way back home to play flag football that day and then go all the way back for the wedding. And I suffer a gruesome injury that causes me to not be able to make it back.
This is a non-starter. Aaron Lowry will end you. The same way I'm sure Sam Slosser would end you as well.
Well, we don't have to worry about it anymore, and thank God, because that was causing a lot of anxiety.
Tyler, I
For
am.
who?
Me, and then
It really
in
bothered
turn,
you that much?
like I said
Have you
before,
played in a championship game before?
two in this league, two, and I won both of them. No, I mean,
Are you-
like
are
I
you-
said before, I could very well not even make the championship game, as I haven't the last 2 seasons now.
Are you potential Grace and Truth Flag Football Hall of Fame? 2 championships.
The G&T Flag Football Hall of Fame is
It's up for
not
discussion.
is not based on on-field performance.
Oh, off
Well,
the-
then if that's the
more-
case, that's
yeah.
the
well, you
case,
got to start
then
leading the team in prayer more, Ty.
Yeah,
more
we'll
community
see.
outreach,
We'll see.
Tyler.
Yeah, can
We'll
we,
see. But
Wait, there
yeah,
actually is a Hall of Fame.
yeah, there is.
Really?
Yes.
That's actually kind of cool.
They induct one person every year, and I think they started it in like 2003, 4, or 5, somewhere in there.
It has to be a player in the league, right?
No, it's usually someone who's been involved in the league for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's that. There is no conflict.
Is that
Hopefully.
the goal? Is that your personal goal?
Oh, I don't care. I mean,
You're just all about the championships?
I just want to win.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to get men pointed in the right direction in their lives, Mike. I'm looking forward to that. Sign up start Monday if you wanna play this year. Monday, gnthathletics.info. You can find that info there. So yeah, no conflict. Hopefully I will be. Hopefully I will be attending Andrew J. Fowler's wedding, fresh off of a flag football championship.
Well, you're still invited.
That's if you're invited. We're not sure yet.
Still invited, so.
Invitation pending.
Invitation pending.
So that's a weight off. That's a weight off my shoulders. And there's a lot of other stuff going on. What else do you guys want to talk about this fine morning?
Well, I see we're supposed to be expanding our hashtag brand. What is going on, Drew?
Yeah, I don't know. Tyler wrote that.
That was some speculation that was rampant about a week ago. We never talked about it a week ago, so we haven't really talked about it much.
In typical
outside
four
the
neat
show.
guy fashion, it'll flourish in about 3.5.
But we are
years.
discussing some ways to expand our hashtag brand, the 259 Empire. But those are still
media empire.
Those
yes.
are still in preliminary discussions. So stay tuned.
We still need to fuel up the private jet to get me back every Wednesday or Thursday. So I don't know when that's going to happen.
I spent the last couple days, guys, watching college basketball. It's been great. You come home, there's games on all day now, and it's not even March Madness. And may I say, we talked about your Bonnies a little bit, but my Grand Canyon University Lopes are playing in the WAC championship game tonight at 10:30.
1 seed, aren't they?
No, they're like the 3 seed. They're going up against New Mexico State.
So they are eligible for postseason.
This is
play
their
now.
first season eligible for postseason play.
Neat.
Drew, question for you in college basketball world: how much, as a UNC fan, do you hate Grayson Allen?
Oh, well, I'm glad we'll never have to play him again. So that's how that goes.
Drew
I don't
hates
even-
him so much that he named his nephew after him.
I did not have the opportunity to name my nephew. But Grayson Allen was the star child, if you will, of the segment we do here of Doofus of the Week. He was the first inaugural Doofus of the Week. I think, or was it Coach K for only indefinitely suspending him a game?
He inspired it nonetheless.
Okay.
Did you watch the game last night?
No, I fell asleep before tip-off.
Before tip-off?
Yeah, 9:30 last night.
Jeez, Drew.
I'm going to stay up tonight and watch it, though.
It was a heck of a game.
I watched the highlights back this morning, and actually before you got here, we had it on the TV.
You guys almost blew it again for the second game in a row against the Dukies.
I know. We came through.
And Drew, jumping off of your point about college basketball just like ramping up, man, I'm loving it too. I watched the end of the Xavier, I think it was Seton Hall.
No, Xavier Providence was a heck of a finish.
That was a hell of a game, man. Awesome, great game. Like I 5 seed Providence took it to overtime, got the W.
Yesterday when I got home from work, I turned Auburn, Alabama on. Alabama had a 10-point lead at halftime. Auburn ended up winning by 17. It was unreal. Alabama didn't score a field goal in the first 10 minutes of the second half.
Wow.
But we're getting thrilled here as Selection Sunday tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow.
I think next week's show is going to be a lot of fun, especially with Bonaventure winning last night. I think they really cemented their place in the big dance, even if they don't win the A10.
Yeah,
So
I think they were in already, but then again, you never assume anything.
Right.
I
think
They got snubbed a couple years ago, right?
They did. In 2016, they had a decent year, and they got snubbed. I think people had that fresh in their heads when they're like, well, Bonaventure's definitely going to get in the big dance. Well, you never know.
You can never be too safe.
Well,
Yeah.
just for example, like tonight, if Grand Canyon University beats New Mexico State has only lost like 4 or 5 games this year. They're definitely in.
Weren't they top 25 at one point, too? Yeah.
They're definitely in. Grand Canyon could also be definitely in with a win. So those bubble teams are even.
They're going to get pushed
more
out
limited.
more. Same thing with the Big East. Mm-hmm. Because it was Xavier Nova, you had a thing. Now Xavier's out. Providence wins. If Providence beats Nova.
I still see some people that still have Syracuse in.
Who?
Yeah, I think that's it's just name brand. That's
I'm a
what
Syracuse
annoys me.
fan, and they have no business being in the tournament this year. They are not a good team.
Yeah, I think the Bonnies are definitely, and they're projected as a 9 seed last I checked on ESPN.
Their best win this year was Clemson. I mean, decent, good win, but that's it. Nothing.
I read
Louisville.
somewhere like a question for everyone. Do we like the system that NCAA has in place where the winner of the tournament is an automatic bid? Do you think it should ever change? Or you
Yeah,
think that's
I like
perfect?
that.
I like it.
I think keep it.
I think it's great. I think 'cause it gives like Bonaventure gave them the opportunity in 2012 to make the tournament. They would have never.
If you are that team from a small conference that like dominates your conference in the regular season, but then loses in the conference tournament and doesn't make the NCAA tournament, you're still locked into the NIT, at least.
Yeah, I agree that the current structure of the tournament's great. It's great TV, especially round 1, round 2 TV, where
It is. It really
you
is.
come home. What is it? Thursday, Friday next week, then Saturday, Sunday.
I enjoy the first 2 rounds are great. I usually take a day off so I can stay home and watch them.
I wish I
Even
could.
during the day, like Tyler said, even during the day, like there's games on like 12 hours straight. It's awesome.
And you can flip back and forth, watch the last 10 minutes of games, like nonstop. If you time it out correctly, you can catch the last chunk of each game.
Yeah, if you recall, it wasn't too long ago where it was just CBS that had it, and they would show the majority of one game, but then they'd kind of
Cut.
to other games as they were ending.
Going back to Joe's point too about the conference tournaments, having the winner get an automatic bid just gives that tournament a lot more significance too. I don't think people would care as much if there'd just be a bunch of games that kind of meant nothing for a bunch of bubble teams that try to make their case.
Now,
other than that, I don't think it would have any significance.
What I don't like is that like every single team gets to play in the conference tournament, which takes away a lot of the meaning of the regular season.
Yeah, that's a great point. They should. Yeah.
But then again, if you look at
it's tough,
conferences
man.
like the ACC, where if you do really well in the regular season, you get a double bye, which is unheard of usually in tournament play.
A lot of conferences
Right, but I
do
think
that
what the
now.
point Tyler's making is what's the point of having teams play every other team in your conference twice a
I mean,
year?
you can set yourself up for
Not
a good-
everyone.
You can set yourself up for a good postseason run if you play well enough in the regular
Well,
season. But at the end of the day, everyone's still got at least a chance.
Well,
Tyler, it's the whole millennial. It's the millennial mentality, man. Everyone gets a
That has
trophy.
nothing to do with that. It's all money. More games,
Yes,
more money.
yes.
More
Unless if
television.
you play them in Madison Square Garden, down the street from Rutgers, and there's no other Big Ten teams around. What else we got going on Team Morale, guys? Daylight saving time, not daylight savings time, as most people say. I'm sure that's one of your pet peeves, Tyler.
Yeah, it is, in fact.
Daylight saving time
It is
tonight,
daylight saving
3 a.m.
time.
Turn your clock, or
2
2
a.m.
a.m. You advance your clock to 3 a.m.
Is it always in March?
Yes.
I feel like it's
usually.
usually later.
It used to be later, but they moved it up to early March. Not too long ago,
Yeah.
but I don't remember exactly when.
I don't remember it coming up this early in the year.
It used to be closer. It used to be like April, I think. And they moved
Do you
it up.
like it being lighter in the morning or at being lighter later in the day?
Well,
Well, I shouldn't ask Tyler because
yeah.
He doesn't count.
If you guys
if
didn't
you
know,
guys
I work
didn't
early in the
know,
morning.
he has a really bad work schedule.
It's
so
honestly,
I
it's
like it when it
depressing.
gets dark at 4:30 in the afternoon, so I could sleep.
Well, yeah, that's because Tyler sleeps at the crazy side. Like I like walking out of work and there still being
Yes,
sunlight.
I'm with you.
I don't mind waking up to darkness.
I don't
Yes.
even know when the sun comes up right now, anyway, because I'm in the newsroom, so I never from 3 to 11, so I never see what it looks like outside unless I look at the traffic camera.
We got to get some sort of drop for Tyler every time he mentions his
Because Mike,
schedule.
guess what daylight savings time is in the news world? Another Sunday. All right?
Just another Sunday.
No, that's a day off.
Another Sunday.
That's a day. Not necessarily.
No,
Not for
but
everybody.
team mascot of the 259 show, Gusser,
Yes!
he's made the adjustment to daylight savings a couple of weeks ago. He's been getting up at 4 in the morning consistently, 3 or 4 in the morning, so hopefully the clock's being moved ahead. It's now 5 in the morning. We had to take Gus into the doctor's appointment this week.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we had to dip into the doggy budget line, Joe
Oh
PG.
boy.
Gusser's had a double ear infection. He was on the
Oh,
shelf. Yeah, he was on the shelf. $200 later, he's fine.
Oh, he's good now?
Yeah, he's
Alright.
amazing
Poor
how that
guy.
works, right?
Did you give him extra snuggles, Drew?
Oh yeah, extra
Snuggies,
snuggles.
huggies, nubbies.
And some treats? And a belly scratch?
Now he's fine. But I guess
yeah. Oh,
that's
Gus.
how my week has been. It's been a lot of scratching, shaking, and paying the vet. But
Yeesh.
Gussie's fine now. Gave him a tennis ball. He's happy. He's a happy camper. In the last couple days, seems like we've hit full throttle in the NFL, and it's March. The NFL does a great job taking sports headlines away from other sports.
They sure do.
Friday news dump.
Right?
Even the scouting combine, even the guy Shaquem Griffin, who doesn't have a left hand, is taking every headline away from all NBA.
The NFL is king.
So this week, where there's been probably on average 50 college basketball games a night for the last 4 days.
I feel like I don't even know what happened in college basketball aside from the Bonnies and Notre Dame.
And the Lopes. Go GCU.
Because all over my feed, aside from the Bonnies, is
NFL related.
And we had some blockbuster, I don't want to call them blockbuster, but some
They were
trades.
big
trades.
Well, they were tailor-made,
Oh.
pun intended, for the 259 show. Let's start off with the biggest one. The Cleveland Browns traded Deshaun Kaiser, friend of the program, Notre Dame grad,
He's friend of the program.
to the Cheeseheads, the Green Bay Packers.
I don't get this move at all. The Packers, I don't know if they have any cornerbacks on their roster at this point because they got rid of Sam Shields earlier in the week, who was very good, just got a lot of concussions, so I could see why they made that move. But Demarius Randall, who's a serviceable cornerback who was a big part of their defense last year, even though their defense sucked. I don't know who they have left on that roster. And they got Deshaun Kaiser when they have Aaron Rodgers, Brett Hundley, who a week ago Mike McCarthy praised and said he still believes in Hundley, and he just wasn't well prepared for
He's still
taking
mad.
over for Rodgers. And
You
now
know,
we got Kaiser.
like, I
don't get the move.
I was going to say it makes sense in the sense that you got to groom someone for Rodgers, but I forgot about Hundley.
You need an
Like, he
insurance policy for Aaron Rodgers.
He played fine over the 8 games that Rodgers was hurt.
It was okay. It wasn't bad. They just have no defense.
Maybe they feel that Kaiser is more similar to Aaron Rodgers, despite throwing 22 interceptions.
Hot take coming. Hot take.
Oh boy!
alert.
Oh boy!
Packers don't re-sign Rodgers. They're nervous, so they sign Kaiser.
Stop! No, there's no way,
I said I'd throw up. And
Mike.
actually cry.
I would throw up for you, man.
I don't know. He wants a big contract. New GM trying to make a bold move.
So that definitely
Not
takes
signing the
cake.
best player in the league.
So what you're saying?
It's the biggest news from yesterday. But
So the Packers
it
aren't
makes-
going to have a defense this year. They're going to have a lot of quarterbacks, though.
Yeah.
Wait, can we quickly
never
talk
had a
about
defense.
how the Rams have like 7 good cornerbacks on their team? Like, you're not gonna.
They started this whole week making the moves, and then they just kind of got forgotten about.
Yeah.
The Rams made a ton of moves this week too.
Marcus Peters was last week or early this week.
Yeah, like it was like 2 weeks ago. Aqib Talib is. They have like 2 All-Pro corners. Sam Shields is ridiculous. They have Tremaine Johnson that they could still possibly sign, but they won't.
Keith Talib still. I don't think he's an elite quarterback anymore. I think he's a little past his prime. Good still, but I don't know if he's the player he once was.
I think he's in that gray area between elite and Darrell Revis when he's old.
Yeah.
So I think he's still got like a year or 2 left in him that he's going to be decent.
And the
but-
Rams also dealt Robert Quinn to the Miami Dolphins. So the Dolphins have
they haven't re-signed Sammy
The
yet
Dolphins
either.
have like 32 defensive linemen on the roster right now.
Samuel hit the open market, Mike.
Yeah.
I don't think he's
Eagles.
going back.
Eagles too making a little bit of a splash, getting Michael Bennett. I think adding another Pro Bowl level player to that already amazing pass rush.
And Richard Sherman, gone.
Yeah, the
from
Legion of
Seattle.
Boom.
I'm thinking he might go to Green Bay. He might go to Green Bay.
What I heard, it sounds like San Francisco is the favorite.
Oh,
I still do not want him on my roster. One of my least favorite.
two torn Achilles. I don't know how you come back from that.
One of my least favorite football players.
As a frequent
Why?
muscle
Why?
tear.
Because he got spoken.
No, I think he's dumb. We've gone over this before.
I think
Oh, haven't we had this argument?
We've talked about
Probably
this
off
before.
the air.
I think that's the thing that annoys people. He's actually really smart and he speaks his mind.
No, he's not really smart. We just
Drew, he went to
perceived him
Stanford.
smart.
He has a communications degree. Do you know how hard it is to graduate with a communications degree from anywhere?
I know.
That's a joke.
Drew, I almost went to Bonaventure for a communications degree.
I almost went to Brockwood
Come
for
on.
a communications degree, and I wised up and got out of that. Right, Tyler?
It's to be determined. So we
this
got
show's going to take off.
What else do we got, Tyler?
Tyrod Taylor and Jarvis Landry,
T-Mobile.
our teammates
T-Mobile
in Cleveland.
left. Yeah,
The Bills got quite a return for that.
Yeah.
I want to speak about that for a second.
Go on.
Look, before we talk about the return, I honestly thank Tyrod. I mean, he's the quarterback that
thank Tyrod.
brought an end to the playoff drought. So he definitely has a spot in Buffalo Bills lore. Look, it's almost like Jim Kelly, Tyrod. No discussion. But getting a third-round pick is robbery.
And
Great job, Brandon Bean.
And doing that before you owe him money next week.
Correct.
Too.
And it's the first pick
like,
in the third round, too. It's the 65th overall pick.
Yeah,
Which
they went
is the
from
best
like
pick in the third round. If you're
having a
drafting.
terrible cap space situation to now being like the 12th best team in salary cap.
What
in
do
the
you guys
NFL.
think the move is for quarterback with the Bills?
They're gonna
trade up and get a quarterback, or sign one of these free agents?
I think both.
Drew, go ahead.
I think they're going to do both.
I think, yeah,
a couple of the mock drafts I saw this week had the Bills stay in, what is it, 25?
1 and 22.
21, 22, staying where they're at, and falling into Lamar Jackson. I like Lamar Jackson from Louisville.
Really?
Yeah, I just keep going, Drew. Sorry.
Also, we have all the quarterbacks up in Minnesota. Was it Bradford and Bridgewater
I
have
think
been
they might
released?
go after Teddy, man.
I like Teddy
Yeah,
too.
so-
I think Teddy is a Sean McDermott guy.
I like that too.
So if I got what I wanted, which hopefully happens, right? They would sign a Teddy Bridgewater type. You know what I mean? Like, because I really like Teddy Bridgewater. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he got really, really hurt. Hopefully he's back. But I would love if they look, man. This year is like full of franchise. I think quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So
Mortgage, the 2 picks, first round pick next year. Get top 5. I would like Sam Darnold. I think he's pretty good.
let me ask you this.
I don't want Josh Rosen. I think he's kind of a prissy.
You don't want Drew
Whatever.
Montana?
He won't. You want Santa.
Can't say that.
No, we're.
Can't say that.
We're
I want either
R-rated
Darnold
show now.
or Allen. I think Allen's like
Let
a
me-
tough.
let me
just
pose you this
tough
question.
Wyoming.
Who
Yeah, go
is
ahead.
starting at quarterback for the Buffalo Bills on opening day?
Nathan Peterman.
Nate Peterman.
He's back in the quarterback conversation come training camp.
I don't think he's the guy.
He's the only guy on the
He's
roster.
the-
No,
right
he's
now.
probably not the guy, but he still might end up starting
I like the Teddy Bridgewater move.
I like-
there.
for now.
Yeah, I think they bring in a veteran for a year or two because I don't want to draft a quarterback and throw him right in the fire. Look.
So they're
I'll
gonna
take
do the
I'll
same
take-
thing they do every year.
Yeah, but at least you have a guy who you're grooming to be the franchise quarterback.
How about you go out?
Like Buffalo has never ever been able to say we have a guy. Okay, we have, but EJ Manuel, no. JP Lossman, no. Right? These are not franchise quarterbacks.
they were
So you
supposed
get
to
a
be.
healthy Teddy Bridgewater. He's what, 2 years into the league? He's only played 2 seasons.
4.
4?
Yeah.
Poor Mike.
4
And
actual. He played
he's
in
got
4.
No, but he's
And
been
he's
in the
got the
league
le-
4 years. He's
Okay,
only played
yeah.
like,
2, 3.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Well,
what I
he-
just said. That's what I'm saying.
but he's been in the league longer than that.
Yes, I understand that, but he's played 2 football seasons.
Right.
You're
But-
getting a franchise quarterback.
I
I
got.
don't know.
for
but
decent-
if he was
you
a
could get him-
franchise quarterback, the Vikings wouldn't get rid of him.
I've got an idea.
Not necessarily because they're getting for sure Kirk Cousins. I think they want to make
Yeah,
a
he
push
might
for
go
the
to the
Super
Jets,
Bowl.
man.
They saw how close they were. I think they're going to make a push for Kirk Cousins. I don't think it's indicative of Bridgewater's health or his playing style or anything. I think Cousins is the best quarterback on the market, and they sniffed the Super Bowl next year, and they want to get there.
I'm just saying, if a team so if you like you're saying Bridgewater is indeed a franchise quarterback, Kirk Cousins has proven he's not going to take a team to the Super Bowl. So
How's he proven? He's never been on a good team.
Yeah, I mean he's never been on a team that would
If he
be
goes to
equivalent of
Minnesota,
next year.
they're favorites in the NFC to go to the Super Bowl. I think.
They could be, yeah. No,
They
that's true.
already were with whoever
They were going into the
So,
season
yeah.
2 years ago with Bridgewater.
Yeah.
Before he got hurt.
How about one person where it hasn't really been brought up, but still doesn't have a contract? Drew Brees to the Buffalo Bills?
He's never leaving New Orleans. That
How awesome would that be,
That
though?
guy is New
No
Orleans.
reason.
That would be
What
awesome,
about
though.
Drew? What about the thing that we know is definitely going to happen? Aaron Rodgers to the Buffalo
Yeah,
Bills.
exactly.
We got Kaiser now. We're good.
You're all set. Friend of the program. But
I want to say this, though. The Cleveland Browns are going to be much improved this year. They might win a couple of games this year.
at least a couple games this year.
You got Tyrod's actually going to have some weapons in Cleveland.
I made a bet with a guy at work 2 weeks ago. He's a big Cowboys fan. I don't know. We were talking about the Browns. He bet me $20 next year that the Browns would make the playoffs. I quickly took that bet, looking at their roster and their current that they've won one game the last 2 seasons. He acted like he knew, like he had insider information, and now I think he did. Now I'm a little nervous that they could be decent. I don't know if they're playoff bound, but they might be able to teeter next year.
Well, you know, they have a quarterback. Well, Deshaun Kaiser got thrown right into the fire.
Now
and
I
he
think they're going. They
turned
got
the
to be
ball
going
over
after
a lot.
Barkley.
Yeah, I guess. But, I mean,
Yeah.
Tyrod's not going to turn the ball over like
No.
Kaiser did.
They're pretty much going to be the Buffalo Bills.
And he's
Of last year.
got Josh Gordon, now Jarvis Landry,
Yeah.
Corey Coleman.
David
Coleman.
Nguyen, whatever his name is, the tight end.
Yeah, their tight end's good, too.
One last quarterback we didn't talk about who's still...
Joe Thomas, if he comes back.
I think Joe Thomas will come back with this roster.
The one more quarterback that is out there that we didn't mention, A.J. McCarron, is still kind of in limbo. Everybody thought he would end up in Cleveland, but not anymore. Cleveland doesn't need another
He
quarterback.
could be your new quarterback
He could
in
be a
Buffalo.
Bill, yeah.
He could be Bill.
I think
So,
it's an
Tyler,
exciting time for Bills
before
fans right now.
we move on, though, is there anything you'd like to say to Jarvis?
I mean, he was a great player. He's our best draft pick in the last 20 years since Jason Taylor, and I'm disappointed that it ended the way it did. But I mean, they were going to have to overpay him. But I think he would have been worth it.
How
More
bad-
so than Andre Branch, Kiko Alonso, even Ryan Tannehill.
How bad are the Dolphins going to be next year?
Who knows?
Are
I
you
mean,
a little-
they always do the opposite of what I expect them to do.
Yeah.
So who really knows? I mean, they've got on paper a loaded defensive line, even though it usually doesn't translate to on the field.
Yeah.
They should have a good running attack with Kenyon Drake. He was looking really good at the end of last year. If Tannehill's healthy, that helps. But not having the security blanket of Jarvis Landry, we still don't have a good tight end either. Who knows?
Bills fans, are you guys after the season?
Oh, by the way, the offseason hasn't even free agency hasn't even technically started yet.
None of these trades are actually have happened yet. The league year hasn't started, so they can't legally trade these guys.
Drewman and Joe. After the Bills lost, you guys kind of lost Jacksonville in the playoffs.
We don't like to talk about that, Mike.
Predictions for how season would next go. Drew said, I think you both said you think a couple steps back next year. You didn't think there'd be much improvement. How are you feeling now? A little more excitement in Bills camp?
Joe and I texted last week before the whole Tyrod thing went down.
Yeah.
And we were actually both excited about the moves they have made.
Yeah.
They've
made a lot of good moves so far.
Yeah, in the last week or so, they've made some. And even this Tyrod move is a good move, in my opinion. I would have been fine with Tyrod still being on the roster next year. I think it's exciting to see who they bring in, where they go. Having said that, I still haven't bought my season tickets yet.
Okay.
Do you think the Bills are going to trade up with these picks they've
so
acquired?
I was just about to say, with all of the moves, like they signed a second tier running back in Chris Ivory, they signed a second tier corner in Vontae Davis, positions you would think that they would use a lot of their picks to draft.
Yeah.
So I think what they're thinking is they're signing these guys to then use these picks as leverage to move up. So
and they
like
could ship Cordy Glenn as well.
right, Cordy Glenn is a name that they could trade. Shaq Lawson is a name that they could trade. I've heard Shady McCoy is a name that they could trade. Like I really think I don't think Shady's going to get traded. I think there would be like a mutiny, but I think that they definitely will take a step back, 4, 5, 6 wins next year. But I think the whole idea of hopefully there being a franchise quarterback in the air creates excitement, and people are like, okay, I can get behind this. Because everything that this administration has done is I've loved. Like Bean, McDermott, all those guys are doing good things. So
They make
I think
good
if
draft
they were-
picks, too.
yeah, they have 6
Last year
picks
they had
in
a
the first
very
3
good
rounds.
draft.
So
Zay Jones was the only kind of
yeah, but wide receivers in their first year typically don't do that great.
Yeah.
So
TBD on him, but
other than Jarvis Landry, though, I mean, he had like 100 catches in the first year.
I got to throw this out there. I was getting my hair cut this morning.
Couldn't tell.
it looks nice.
Jim, my barber,
Yeah.
is a big Bills fan. He said he was just eating breakfast at West Wind's restaurant somewhere in Greece. He said it's the owner is a Browns fan, so they've got a lot of Browns fans who go there.
Yeah.
On the specials board today, the Tyrod special, everyone gets a free sucker out of the jar. So he wasn't happy about the move.
He wasn't. Okay.
No.
I follow a Facebook page called Bills Mafia. There's like 100,000 people in that group.
Really, Joe, what is the Bills Mafia?
Never heard of him.
Yeah, you don't want to know. But there's like it's like 50-50. People are like praising Bean for trading Tyrod finally, and people are like, I'm no longer going to watch this team that you've traded our savior. I'm like, give me a freaking break, guys.
I'm kind of interested in watching a Browns game next year and seeing how Tyrod does over there. Granted, he's the starter in that game.
Tyrod Taylor and Jarvis Landry connected for a touchdown in the Pro Bowl 2 years ago. I don't know if you guys remember that. But
No.
could be a sign
No one other than you remembers
of things to come in Cleveland.
in the land.
But Jarvis Landry, some faults obviously. He drew some untimely some untimely penalties. His yards per catch not particularly high, but it's hard to
Number of catches, right up there though.
yeah, he led the league. I believe he has the most catches in NFL history for his first 4 seasons. He scored 10 touchdowns last year. We're gonna miss him.
Yeah, I think he deserves to get paid. I think
More than anything, he was the spark plug for the entire offense and the entire
yeah.
team.
So the question is, what are the Dolphins doing other than shipping out? It seems
I don't know. I mean, like I said, the free agency hasn't even begun
Do
yet.
they have a quarterback next year? Tannehill.
It's going to be
Is
Tannehill.
he
What
back?
I think that they may draft someone to
First
compete and
round?
eventually replace it. They might. There's been a lot of talk about it.
I'm going back to Joe's last point. I hope the Bills trade up because I don't want to stay up and watch the NFL draft longer than I have to the day of the NFL draft.
But knowing the Bills, man, they made a lot of moves last year, so I'm not going to be surprised if they trade back into the first after trading up
Out of the
into
first.
the first.
Oh,
It's amazing how quickly the new regime came into Buffalo and tried to,
Take over,
Yeah,
shake it up.
yeah.
Yeah,
doing
no,
well,
they certainly put their stamp on.
I mean,
on
right
that
when you
team.
thought they had a lot of good young pieces already there, they shipped some of them off right away.
I was talking to my brother this morning about it. Even if Sean McDermott doesn't go back to the playoffs, he easily has at least 3 more years in Buffalo because he's gone once.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't have
Oh,
to
yeah.
worry about his job at least for 3 more years now.
And I think he's Terry Pagula's handpicked guy, I think. And
I don't know. I
But
think
I
you
wanna
guys
say
got
one
your
more
coach of the
thing.
future. I really
how
do.
much of a process move would it be if listen to me, Drew? Buffalo traded Sammy Watkins for a 2nd-round pick. Buffalo waits a year. And then, in the theory of process, Sammy Watkins re-signs with the Bills.
That'd be
Thus,
awesome.
giving the
You're a
Bills
ding?
a second-round
You're gonna
pick.
That'd be
How
awesome.
much of a process move, Drew?
Huh?
Did
We
you
get a
come up
comment?
with that?
I heard a ding.
Yeah, I just thought of it like randomly one day.
That's funny.
John Strauss wants to know Landry who?
Landry Jones is the backup quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, that was my next question. Who is public enemy number 1 in Buffalo now when it comes to when the Dolphins come to town? Landry's gone.
All-
Who do
all
they?
of the
Who,
Donkey Kong Sue.
if
Yeah,
he's still there,
Sue.
if he's still
It's
there,
definitely. I think it's been Sue. I don't think it's been Landry. It's been Sue.
Well, Landry was the guy who basically made Aaron Williams retire
Yeah.
with his hit. So, like a lot of Bills
He
fans
also had a dirty
hate
hit
him.
last year too, right? Am I remembering?
no, he
think
just,
he
he just got
he plays-
ejected.
He plays really tough. He's a hard hitting guy. Look, it was a crackback block, which is like you shouldn't do those anyways. But
But
still,
it's nothing.
football,
it's nothing
so-
that you don't see every other week in
Right.
the NFL.
It happens 5 or 6 times a game. So like Aaron Williams just got hit really hard in a wrong spot. I think Jarvis Landry is not a dirty player. I think he just hit a guy really hard and he got hurt.
A guy who has a deep injury history.
Yes, who had already had neck injuries before.
It just happened to be the straw that ended
Yes.
his career.
Right. So,
Well, we're on the topic of sports. Let's dive into this week's power rankings.
oh boy.
It's time for the 259 Show's weekly power rankings.
This week's power rankings choice was Tyler. Tyler, what did you choose?
We are going high school sports memories.
I had to text you early this morning. It was
Yeah.
probably 5:30 or so because on our rundown here it says most popular high school
Well,
sports. I'm like, that's
Yeah, well, that was supposed to be a note for continuing the conversation afterward, and I
Oh,
apologize
see.
if I didn't make that clear.
I see that
Yeah.
there now. All right, I was very confused at first.
So this was kind of fueled by the discussion we had about high school basketball last week, and the fact that it's been 10 years coming up this June that Joe and I graduated high school.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting up there. We're old.
Ditto.
Yeah,
So, well, which order are we going to reveal today, Tyler?
we're going Drew, Mike, Joe, Tyler.
Drew, the right thing.
Joe, you know what? Joe's list and my list will probably be similar, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Drew, Mike, Joe, Tyler. Let me pull up here. Show notes. Here we go. My 5 top high school sports memories. Number 5. Now, this isn't. Let me rephrase. I'm not going off of high school sports. I'm going Hilton Cadet sports because these things may have happened before I was in high school. Number 5, Hilton Cadet basketball scrimmaging at the Blue Cross Arena. Back when I was like 4 or 5, my dad and Ori had a connection with the ownership group of the Blue Cross Arena, or the management group. I believe LeBeau used to take care of it. They used to do Frontier Field too. So through Dick LeBeau, we would go at 5 in the morning on Championship Saturday. They were never in the game, but this was when like Ryan Me was on the team. they would get 2 hours of court time at the Blue Cross Arena. And back when I was 4, I thought these guys were like all-stars. Like, that was pretty cool. We were able to get down and shoot hoops, and I used to press the buttons on the scoreboard and make the...
That's right.
I would
That's where you got your start.
I would flip the switches.
Pushing buttons.
Yeah, I would flip the
young
switch
age.
to the goal sirens at the Blue Cross Arena. I was like cloud 9 back then. So that was number 5. Number 4, this is something that I believe, Mike, you were there. I'm not sure about Tyler, but the Hilton Cadet Appreciation Night in 2010.
I wouldn't. I don't think I was.
I believe Jeff and Lori were there at the time.
that would have been Jake and Mike's junior year.
Yes, I received my varsity letter, which once this man cave gets put together, it'll sit right here. It was something I was not expecting as a non-playing athlete, student athlete, if you will. But I did receive a varsity letter.
I gotta mention, after we're done with this discussion, we gotta circle back to Cadet Appreciation Night 2011 for a brief story. Mike,
I think we've already talked about this.
yeah, we'll get there.
Number 3 on my list, Hilton versus Penfield in the 2005 sectional playing game for boys basketball. That was at Hilton. Hilton hosted, I believe it was the 8-9 game. My brother Mike Fowler hit a 3-point shot at the buzzer to force it into overtime. If I remember correctly, Shane Gladio made a layup to force a second overtime at the buzzer, and then my brother had a couple more 3-point shots in the second overtime. We ended up winning by like 3 or 4. Side note to that, the next game we played number 1 seed East. Ooh. And that's back when, I don't know if they still do it, but that's when city schools couldn't host postseason games for whatever reason. So it was held at West Irondequoit.
I guess.
I don't remember, but the game time say 7:30. Mm-hmm. So 7 o'clock, the teams start to warm up. East didn't show up till 7:25. Came off of a school bus in their jerseys, didn't take a shot and warm up, and they won by like 60. It was crazy. Number 2 on my list is the 2008 Hilton baseball postseason. I couldn't pick one particular moment, so I put them all together. We've talked about that on the show before. Number 1 on my list is watching any Hilton Cadet football game back in the day with Steve out on LeBeau Field. Even when I was in high school, I would not sit in the student section particularly. I would go over and find Steve in his Carhartt jacket. We'd sit and watch the game.
We've got some video right in the middle of the cadet crew.
Yeah, but I wouldn't spend the whole game over there. I would start the game over there. I would move over to the far. We would always sit on the far side where the student pep band sits now. That was not a thing when I was a student. But even when I was like 5, 6, and 7, like we would go and one moment, I might totally be forgetting who this was. Was Alex Coffey a punter at any time?
Andy Ellsworth was the
That's
punter.
it.
Yeah.
Andy Ellsworth. I think it was his first year punting, maybe his sophomore year. He had a punt that rolled out. It hit the pylon in the end zone. And it was like unbelievable. My dad was flipping out. I remember that clearly. Because it was a great punt. They put him up. They pinned him back there.
He would either crush it and have a great punt, or it would
shank
just
it.
be shankopotamus, and it would go like 4 yards.
So those are my Hilton Cadet memories.
Yeah, I'm with you, Drew. I loved going to the Friday night football games at LeBeau Field and just kind of hanging with the friends. And
We have a disclaimer.
it was always a nice atmosphere.
There
too.
aren't many better places to go watch a high school game
No, I
on
don't
Friday
think
night
so.
than
I think the fans
LeBeau
are great.
Field.
The whole town, really.
There's
It's
actually
not that our town shuts down, but a lot of members of the town are there. You look, the entire school's covered in cars.
there's a better place now to watch Hilton Cadet football games. It's actually from my backyard because it sounds like you're there with the new sound system. Anywho,
No, the last several years, all the home games, I mean, the cars are like all along the
It's
street.
ridiculous.
The parking lots are full.
It's cool. I don't think a lot of schools have that type of atmosphere
Yeah.
around here.
I'll say this, one other great place to catch a Friday night game in Section 5 is Churchville.
Yeah, they have a cool little,
Yeah,
they have a cool
yes.
stadium.
I will give them credit. They do a good job.
I like their setup over there.
I also like
nice.
the
scenic.
I like the
Yes.
Spencerport football stadium too. It's kind of like in the bowl.
Yeah,
You know,
atmosphere not so much,
No.
but
the stadium
Cool
itself.
stadium.
it's hard to top Hilton in terms of atmosphere for a Friday night.
Yeah, 2 quick notes here. Sean Carroll from Syracuse reaches out to the program, says, "For the record, I turned off last week's podcast about 10 minutes in when Tyler screamed Bonnie's. I'll do that again if it happens." So stay off of that. And, the fiance upstairs just tweeted the show. Her favorite high school sports memory is winning the cider jug. That's a shot.
Oh!
Get that out of here. You know what? Guess what's going to be on my list?
It was nice of us to let Brockport have it at least once.
That's when Greg Earnhardt handed me the cider jug. And I held that thing up.
I held that thing up.
And now where is it?
You know
We'll get to
what?
my list in a
The sad
moment.
thing is, Hilton and Brockport are probably not going to play in football for a
Ever.
long time, so it's going to stay in Brockport for a while, which is unfortunate because it was in Hilton most of the time. Mm-hmm. Anywho.
That's funny.
And even if we brought
Actually-
the cider jug back, I don't think anybody would.
Sam,
Remember.
that's hilarious, actually. I'm glad she said that.
Right? Like, it's been, 8 years removed now?
Yeah.
Since the last time? Maybe 8 years?
Yeah.
Probably 8 years now. They're not going to play it. Say 20 years passes, nobody's going to remember this.
Unless it's like unless both teams are garbage one year and they play in a
Connors and Ferris Bowl.
yeah.
Michael.
Alrighty. Number 5.
Hilton Tennis.
No.
Division champs. Winless out of division and undefeated in the division.
That's how most West Side tennis teams records go. Seasons go.
It's definitely bocce at the tennis banquet then.
Oh, bocce should be a high school sport.
I agree. That'd be.
You would have
Awesome.
been AGR.
Oh,
player of the
AGR,
year.
first team All-American
They,
bocce
they would
player.
name the trophy after
You and Eric.
Lord.
the Vincelli Luisi Cup. Hey,
You guys would definitely beat Gates in the semifinals, then Spencerport in the section.
East Rochester would have reigned supreme.
All right, number 5 is a little quirky. Good friend Kevin Godisi got his 100th win our senior year. He was wrestling part of the Century Club. And if you're not familiar with wrestling, that's a pretty big deal when a wrestler gets their 100th win. A bunch of our friends were. I forget, something was going on. No one was able to go. I think it was at Olympia High School where he won his match. And the next day in school, we got a bunch of people. We made big signs with those yardsticks and posters and 100 wins. And we all had lunch together. And he was sitting down for lunch. And we came through the cafeteria.
Was he eating like a piece of bread? And
This is the thing too. Kevin wrestled at 120, 125 in high school. Kid was skin and bones. He was so pale and scrawny and just sad all the time because he couldn't eat. He was happy when he could chew gum. He couldn't even drink water. It was sad because we'd always eat he ate lunch with us every day and he never ate anything. He'd just kind of sit there and be half asleep. So we organized this big thing for him and we came through. You know how you were the lunch line, you'd come through and kind of pop out. And we started waving these flags around and cheering. And the entire cafeteria, half the people didn't know Kevin, and the entire cafeteria got up and clapped for him, and Kevin was very, very happy about that. He was a little embarrassed, but I'll never forget that. I remember he had the posters at his graduation party, and that was a nice moment for Kevin.
what did Carl Hansen do while the cafeteria did that?
He probably got up and clapped. I don't remember. But,
Mike, was that your senior year?
Yeah, that was our senior year. That was funny. I know that's something that meant a lot to Kevin, and he was, I think, a little bummed not everyone could be there. Something was going on at the school, I forget. And I remember it was really crappy weather that night. But, yeah, that was fun. I won't forget that. Number 4, being a part of the cadet crew my sophomore year. That was the only fun year I had on the cadet crew. And
yeah, you guys kind of let Drew's creation fall apart.
that was when girls got involved. They got
Women.
women ruining everything.
What was that? Was that why the cadet crew fell apart?
Yeah, pretty much. No. Specifically, Drew, you got to remember this game. The game at Gates.
Oh, I was there. Joe and I were there.
That was a hell of a game.
That was all. Yeah.
That was a really good game because Gates was a powerhouse.
They were number 3 in the state
Yeah.
going into that game.
And that was such a good game. I remember Adam Grushaw having an amazing. He had an unbelievable game that night.
Oh, was that Jeff Stanton?
The fake field goal, Jeff Stanton.
Oh yeah, it was his
to,
senior year.
yeah.
That game was so much fun. We had a huge crowd there.
They brought in portable bleachers for that game.
For us, yeah.
And I remember standing in the top corner of that student section, and we were jumping so much. They're portable, and they're shaking. Like, I was going up and down.
I've got video from that game because Joe and I, we were just coming home from break that day, and we met up with Greg, who was coming back from Purdue, and I remember Greg eating a garbage plate right outside Gates Child.
Yeah, we got a plate. We got a garbage plate. We were sitting outside of Gates Child High School.
I've got video of Joe making some off-color comments during that game to the Gates fans also.
All right, I'm glad you were. I had a feeling you were there, or at least I know you'd remember.
I
don't remember
I
a
have
lot
video
of
of
specifics.
you painted for that game.
Yeah, it was fun because I was a sophomore, and with all the seniors, so that was cool, and that was one high school football game I won't forget. I remember that was a heck of a game. I don't remember a lot of the specifics, but I just know it had a lot of implications. Yeah, it was just a wild game. It was a big upset for Hilton.
It was a crazy, I don't even know if you'd call it rivalry, but it was only like 4 or 5 years that
Gates Hilton was big.
Gates is like falling off the map in football now.
And it was always like the last regular season game, and then you would see him in a couple weeks later.
Who was the really good football player? He ended up going to UB, didn't he? The wideout for Gates?
Ernest Jackson.
Was Dillard one?
Chad Dillard.
Yeah. They had some real nice players. That was a heck of a game.
Marcus McGill played at UB.
Yeah, Marcus McGill.
But unfortunate footnote to that was that Hilton went undefeated that regular season and then lost to Gates in the sectionals.
Yes,
2 years in a row, actually.
That was the shtick for Hilton. We just couldn't beat Gates in the sectional semis. I think we had a half day that year too, Drew. Do you remember that?
I think that's correct. The day of.
Yeah.
So we had an extra couple hours.
It was awesome because we had like early soccer practice and like all the guys because a lot of the guys that painted were on the soccer team. And we like hung out all day, got lunch, probably went to the diner. It was a really fun day.
That was also one of the last trips for the Cadet Cruiser, the '98 Volvo wagon I drove. My first car. It died quickly after that. I think we made it to the sectionals that year, and that was it.
That was fun too. That fall, it was finally my mom stopped having to cart me around, and I actually knew people with cars that could drive me around.
Varsity Mike.
My friends. Varsity Mike.
That just happened to Joe last month. So.
Finally got to drive Tyler somewhere.
Number 3, team dinners for soccer. Specifically, it would be our first team dinner right before the weekend of the Steinmetz tournament, right Labor Day weekend, and we always would shave our heads before. Once you get up to varsity, you'd shave your head. I don't know why we did, but I'll never forget that. Those are always fun.
I don't believe they do that anymore.
Probably not. They're not as fun.
Soft.
Oh, they gotta have their comb over haircuts. But
the perfectly coiffed hair.
Yeah, they need. Yeah, they gotta gel it for the games and look nice and tape their wrists and don't get me started.
They're good at least.
Yeah, they are good. They have a nice coach. So team dinners were a lot of fun. I know you guys did them for football too.
We did team. Oh yeah, we had team dinners every week. Every single week.
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm going to talk about it in mine.
We probably had one once or twice a month because we had multiple games throughout the week, so we couldn't do one every week. But yeah, that one specifically, a lot of excitement for the season off of a few weeks of 2-a-days and all that. Mm-hmm. So preseason, so that was always a good time. Number 2, pregame shed before soccer games. We didn't have a locker room; only football team had the locker room, so we took the equipment storage shed behind the concession stand and kind of made it our locker room. And there'd be all the track mats in there before games.
I mean, to be fair, you guys have like 3 pieces of equipment: shin guards, socks, and cleats.
We would have a lock box underneath the bleachers.
To keep the balls,
to keep the balls and cones and stuff. Yeah, but going to the shed was cool. We had a TV. Our coach before a game would play old EPL goal highlight tapes. We'd be blasting music and kind of just getting ready for the game. That was always a lot of fun going into the shed. And then number 1, just any fall season on varsity, and specifically just being out around my friends on the soccer team. That was a lot of fond memories. I have one funny story. I forget, it was either my freshman or sophomore year. We'd do this thing at woods runs, so we'd go out and warm up and stretch back in the woods, and we'd have wrestling matches. And one time, Dan Kelman, that creek, is it Salmon Creek that's back there?
Yeah.
After that, he ran back, caught a fish with his bare hands and brought it back to our coach. Who would be like, well, we were gone for like double the amount of time we were supposed to, so we needed to have like a good story. And he brought back this fish to our coach that he caught with bare hands, and that was funny.
You played when you were a sophomore. You had quite a cast of characters.
We had a crew of characters. Yeah, that was quite a crew. But that might have been my freshman year. I got pulled up for sectionals because I think like Schwinn and all those guys are on the team.
Oh,
if they're
okay.
listening, they have to chime in. Probably tell the story better than I could. But yeah, that was fun.
Joey.
All right. This was a great power ranking. It took me a long time to figure out. And my number one is actually like 15 things.
I didn't even think of anything that was not a specific game. I didn't even think of the behind-the-scenes things.
Yeah. I can't think of any specific games.
Number 5, the 2008 baseball run was awesome. That was so much fun. I had never been to like a baseball game other than like sectional final games in the years before, and I actually found myself going to a lot of baseball games that year. We had a lot of good buddies on the team, like Nick Pappas, Pat O'Sullivan, John Schwind. You know, like, I mean, they weren't like super tight with us, but like they were good dudes. Mike Vowles, you know, Evan Bean, guys we just like appreciated. I mean, Drew was obviously on the team. So seeing that, baby. Yeah, seeing those guys do their thing was pretty amazing. Jeff was on the team, like all those guys, man.
Head brewmaster at Woodkettle Brewing Company.
Head brewmaster. Number 4, sorry Sam, but beating Brockport for the Cider Jug senior year for sectionals. That game was just like so electric. There was like 4,000 people at that game.
Was that a home game?
It was one of only 2 home games for us that year.
Yeah, it was homecoming our senior year. So it was just like, it was amazing. Awesome atmosphere. It was like a hell of a game. I think the final score was 20-17. We ended the game on a James Moss interception.
Brett
Clark interception that sealed the W.
That was to get in the sectionals as well as win the Cider Jug?
Yes.
It had
Okay.
sectional implications. I think if we would have lost, I think it would have been a stretch for us to become like an 8 or a 7 seed. But we had to win. We were a 6 seed. Yeah, because we finished that year 3-3 in the regular season.
Yeah,
and that game was huge, and it was just like everything about it was awesome. Number 3 is my only personal accomplishment was catching a touchdown pass for Canandaigua. That was just big for me because I'd never caught a touchdown in a game before. It just felt good, you know. I liked it.
I liked it. It made me feel good.
I like scoring touchdowns.
I like scoring touchdowns. Number 2.
Did that ease the pain of the result of that game?
Yes and no. Kahim Gist just gashed.
We'll live
us
in our
everything.
nightmares forever.
I think the best quote from that game is Rich Labonte said to Marshall, "Hey, we got this kid named Brett Clark. We're willing to trade him to you for a defensive end." It's like Gist would just run. He was running circles around us. Number 2 is a 2-part memory. First one was when my brother's 2003 football team beat Easton sectionals. That was a great game too. Nick Bell, starting running back. Just a lot of guys on that team who I had like grown up watching and just like appreciating their game. And also with that was beating McQuaid my senior year in sectionals. Tyler played in that game. It was awesome. We just stuck it to him, man. We just beat the crap out of him, and we went in. It was like 29-6 or something like that.
28-9.
28-9. We just smoked them. It was awesome. And then number 1, I put high school football, and then I've got like 15 things I want to mention about high school football. I'm sorry, like things like messing around with Tyler during weight room. Like we wouldn't work out. We would just
in the locker room.
No, not even the locker room. During
showers.
Spring weight room sessions. Like Greg would be like throwing up like 400 pounds on the squat rack. Tyler and I would bench once and then just like run around like a bunch of idiots.
I think you did a little more than I did in there.
Right, but still, I mean, you were there distracting me. The team dinners were amazing. We had them before every game, and then with the team dinners comes all the football moms that like just like shelled out everything. Like my mom, Tyler's mom, Nick Fillion's mom.
We ate well before every single game.
Just to name 3 of like the beautiful ladies who like just like made football amazing for us. Shaving a 45 in the back of my head my senior year. When I got second team all county, the bonds that were made, like Tyler's my best friend, like Greg, all these guys are dudes who I will like know and love forever. Dan freaking Bates, that's all you got to say about that. Harmon rubbing his bald head, Lapani screaming like an idiot, Minch, Bop, two amazing coaches. Having my dad be one of the coaches was actually like awesome. Like having like making that bond with him was so cool. I thought at first it'd be a little weird him coaching, but it was amazing. Going to TNT camp, the time Tyler slapped me in the face to get me excited for TNT camp. The time Tyler slapped me in the face before a football game.
Which one? There was like three of those.
Sideline, and we mostly did it just to be idiots, but it actually pissed me off, so it did its job.
There's a picture from when
all those things, man.
Because we played our first two games. Joe told me that I could slap him before the game to get him fired up, and I did it, and we lost the first two games. And then we beat Spencerport. Our fourth game was our first home game. It was against Olympia, and Joe told me not to do it. And you can see there's a picture like at the very end of the national anthem, and in the bottom corner you can see me slapping Joe against his will. We won.
And the reason why we did that was because John Henderson was a defensive tackle for the Jaguars, and there's a video of him getting slapped by a trainer, and he's just losing his mind. Watch it on YouTube. And so Tyler and I did it mostly out of joke, but like it actually did fire me up a little bit. But yeah, high school football is something I will cherish for the rest of my life. So that's my top 5.
Tiller.
All right. Number 5, a little different than what has been mentioned yet. This was my first first Hilton High School hockey game that I attended. It was my freshman year. It was a sectional semifinal against Irondequoit. It was at Lakeshore, which is a great place to see a high school game. Hilton was the underdog in that game. Came right out and scored like 3 fluky goals right at the beginning of the game. And the crowd was huge. Everyone was into it. A lot of older students there because I was a freshman, obviously. Hilton ended up losing the game 10-5.
Eesh.
But I'll never forget just being at a high school hockey game for the first time. That's probably my second favorite high school sport to watch. Just the atmosphere around that game, even though Hilton ended up losing. It ended up making for a lot more memorable moments down the line when I got to go watch my cousin play for Hilton, my cousin Corey, because he was really good. And it was a lot of fun watching hockey throughout high school and beyond. I still watch it now. Number 4, this is probably the only real personal one that's on here, was my junior year. I was a bench warmer both years on varsity. It was a pool play game after we lost sectionals. We played a home game against East, and we absolutely destroyed LeBeau Field, which was still grass at the time. It had rained. And
we destroyed it for the whole rest of all the other
Effort.
teams that season couldn't play on the field.
It was literally a mud pit.
It was so bad they put turf in.
That happened several years later, but yeah, we absolutely destroyed that field. But we won 20-0. I got to get into the game toward the end. Was waiting for it to happen. Sure enough, the quarterback fumbled the exchange with the center, and I was right there, and I just dove right on it. Barely even got up off the ground on that play out of my stance. I just dove straight for it. Recovered.
No
fumble. Led the team in fumble recoveries that year.
No attempt to recover and score. Get to the end zone.
Couldn't advance it. That was my
I
one.
couldn't move. He was stuck in the mud.
One thing I could do, I would just get real low, get right up as close to the center as I could, and as soon as he snaps, just try to squeeze through there. It just so happened the quarterback dropped it.
That boy was a hell of a pouncer back in the day, let me tell you what.
And we have great video and pictures of that moment.
Still on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Number 3. We're going to go to our senior year football season sectionals against McQuaid. Now, as Joe mentioned, we had just got into sectionals in the last game of the regular season by being Brockport on homecoming. We were the 6th seed. McQuaid was the 3 seed after ripping through the City League.
Joke.
And we were excited because we knew that we had a great chance of beating McQuaid in the sectional quarterfinals, and sure enough, we went in there and just hammered them.
That was one of the first times the Hilton Cadet Crew organized a fan bus to that McQuaid game. Mm-hmm. And I can't even remember who the chaperone was at the time. Might have been Coach Prince, because he did a lot of
very well could have been
chaperoning. But he promised the bus, if Hilton 1, we would stop at 7-Eleven for Slurpees on the way home. The bus was ready. It was about 20 minutes of a whole school bus getting Slurpees across the street.
7-Eleven? Oh, and
It was
Brighton?
at the time. It was the only 7-Eleven in the area.
Yeah, the one at Elmwood and
Right across the street there.
Was it on his
Actually,
dime?
No,
Todd, I want to cut you off real quick.
that
There's-
whole week was
Drew's-
a lot of
Drew's-
build up to that game.
Yeah, Drew's talk about the bus made me think about actually on the bus ride back to Hilton from McQuaid. Duel made an announcement. He's
It
like,
was before we even got on the bus, if I recall.
Oh, okay. So he
correctly,
told
yeah.
everyone Marshall had beaten Churchill Chili, and Churchville was this like powerhouse, right?
They were like number
undefeated,
one in the state.
number
that
one
year.
seed. They had Averin Collier, who was a punk. They had all these like fat offensive linemen and defensive linemen who were a bunch of jabronis, and we just went nuts. We were like,
They beat us. We had played them closer than anyone else had that year, but they still beat us. But then they got upset
Yeah.
by the 8 seed Marshall.
it's weird to say though, but 10 years ago, you probably wouldn't have known until you got home that night and watched the news.
Yeah.
I don't know how he knew. But
Right? Somebody must have been at the
Been there,
game and
yeah,
called
yeah.
his dad, and his dad
somebody
probably
must have called his dad.
right?
Yeah,
Because there was Twitter, but schools didn't use Twitter to do.
that was the
high
year
school
that like the
sports and
DNC
stuff.
really stepped up its high school sports coverage.
Yeah.
Though I don't know, but
Smartphones weren't really
Yeah.
a thing then.
yeah. But anyway, yeah, we went and I mean, right from the get go, Joe caught a long pass. Brett had like 3 touchdowns. The big one was the 4th down in the 4th quarter. He ran for a touchdown. So we won 28-9, and I was mentioned in the pregame speech by Coach Dan Bates that week because even though I rarely saw the field,
Tyler, your job as someone, unfortunately, you didn't see the field a lot, but you worked the starters during practice, man. Like that's almost as valuable. That is as valuable, you know.
someone's got to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I remember I actually felt like I had contributed somehow. I did get to go in at the very end of the game when we were running out the clock. So I felt good about that. Like I had actually done something, even if it was just something very small to help the team. So we won that game, and we felt like on top of the world. We ended up losing at Paytech Park the next week against Canandaigua. That was another exciting game. Number 2 is the entire 2008 baseball season. We've talked about it many times. We could probably do a whole episode about it if we wanted to. We've done a whole documentary about it already. Go check it out. How about them apples?
Still on YouTube.
On the YouTube. But I that was just a perfect ending to our... Well, I guess it would have been more perfect if they had won state, but it's hard to look back and not have anything but great memories of that run, because it was a great way to end our senior year. Certainly something that we'll never forget. And then number 1, got to go back to the week before that McQuaid game that I just talked about. Homecoming against Brockport. It was like our Friday Night Lights moment. We had to win in order to get into sectionals against our arguably our biggest rival.
At the time.
Yeah. And we did. It was a back and forth game. Joe had another not long catch, but he had a first down.
I did. Had a couple catches that game.
Never forget Nick Pappas's epic touchdown grab in that one.
Nick Pappas is probably one of the more underrated football players in Hilton football history.
Yeah.
That kid was really good.
He had like 5 interceptions that year.
Yeah, he had I think he had like 6 or 7, and he had some of the best hands I've ever seen. He caught everything thrown his way.
That was a big catch. And then Brett just running through. We were just wearing we wore Brockport down. They were a good team.
They were, yeah.
Just kind of wore them down with Brett running, and then Duel got the quarterback sneak touchdown at the end, and then Brett picked off the pass. Then we had to grind out one more first down to run out the clock, and then just went nuts. Greg and Brett grabbing the cider jug, and then running back into the locker room knowing that we had won, and a huge crowd there that night. It was
I remember
hot. It was humid. It was like 80 degrees that day.
It was a warm day. I remember the build up to that game because we had a half day at school, I think, or we didn't even have school.
I can't remember now. But...
I don't think we had school that day.
Oh, that was I think it was a day off.
Because that's
Columbus Day weekend.
That was one of the first
People were
tailgates.
before,
Yeah.
and I remember
It was the
I always
Churchill
like to-
game that was a half day.
I like to get to the locker room early because I wanted to was like it took me forever to get ready, whatever. So I wanted to like get my ankles taped.
I was
all that
tailgating
stuff.
playing football all afternoon.
Yeah, that tailgate.
Yeah, everyone was just like hanging out, and like I'd walk out there, and it was great. People were just like hanging out. You know, you're talking to people. It's a great way to like get loose.
Jeff Allen brought his dad's generator, a TV.
Oh, that's
and
right. We were
Xbox
watching-
at
yeah,
the time.
yeah.
We were playing Madden.
Yeah.
School party
On the practice field.
It was a hot day.
See, kids don't do that anymore. Like, they go to the games, sure, but like we were hanging out, like anticipating the game all day.
You know why kids don't do that anymore? There's no Drew Fowler to get Tony Craglio to donate pizza and pops
Well, let's give Drew credit. He did create the cadet crew, and it was an amazing experience
for the couple of years.
For a
Though.
lot
our
of
senior
people.
year.
Oh, for a lot of people.
That year, more than any, I mean, we had a great run in football, great run in basketball, and then
baseball.
even greater run in baseball.
And a good senior class that really championed.
Don't forget
division.
about the cross country team, Ty. They were also very well ran.
Jay Clifford.
Jay Clifford.
Didn't he run cross country?
He did our
Yeah.
senior year.
He did, yeah.
Instead of
he
football.
He retired from football.
So, well, real quickly, guys. Most popular high school sport is our follow-up question to this power ranking. It's still got to be football, right?
Yeah.
I think football and baseball are pretty much.
Do you know what I find annoying? Mike might agree with me because he listens to local sports talk. The guys that call up and talk high school basketball, like, no, these are guys who've been watching 40 years,
Yeah.
and they talk about the good old days. Like, no, it's high
It's
school
not
basketball.
good quality around here anyway.
It's not.
Well, you know what? I will say this: the Rochester area does produce more college basketball talent than college football talent, but more people care about football.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd say my favorite sports to go watch, I think wrestling would be number one.
Wrestling is underrated because Hilton has been so good for the last several years now, and there's a lot of great quality wrestlers all around Section 5.
Yeah, I've been watching high school wrestling since probably 7 or 8. A lot of my cousins wrestled for Spencerport, and they were much older than me. My dad and I would go to tournaments every single weekend together and spend the entire weekend there. I loved it.
How did you never get involved in wrestling other than that one year you did?
I liked basketball. I was playing basketball, and then
Hilton
that one
Slut.
year I tried wrestling, and then I just kind of got serious into soccer, and I didn't. It took up a lot of the winter, so. I wish I stuck with wrestling. There you go. There you have it.
But I would say that football is the most popular. I would say the debate is between like basketball, hockey, and lacrosse for like the second most popular now.
I've never seen a high school lacrosse game. I've never.
Don't.
On the east side, it's more popular than it is out here on the west side.
Yeah.
But it's certainly growing in popularity. But I would say you get big crowds at basketball and hockey games, but nowhere near the crowds for football.
Another year or so, Tyler, you get to start bringing young Natalie around to high school athletic events, and she can think that's a
we're working
professional sporting event.
We're working on.
Tyler, you got to get one of those
Already.
like things you put on your chest and you just put the baby in it, so you can just like have her there and
Baby
just
harness.
a baby harness.
That concludes our power ranking topic this week. At the end of today's program, Joe will choose next week's topic.
Oh
and
dear!
That was a fun one to think about, Tyler. That was good.
Yes.
Didn't know about that.
Yeah, this is how it works, Joe. We've been doing.
I know. I realize that. I've got some that are like queued up, but okay.
All right.
All right.
You still got some time here.
I'm good. I'm good.
Midweek this week, Tyler, I gave you a call. I called you 3 or 4 times this week, and you finally returned my call. We found Malcolm in the Middle on cable television.
It is on TV.
In the afternoon. Channel 19, Michael.
So
Fuse Network.
Fuse.
So good.
Monday through like Wednesday.
I had
Malcolm
bemoaned
in
the fact that Malcolm in the Middle wasn't on any channels, but apparently it is.
Yeah, Malcolm in the Middle's on like Monday through Wednesday from like
4 to 6.
2 to 6 or something. Then Thursday, Friday, it's a little bit
okay.
shorter because it seems like they played movies.
And it's
or
on
something.
it's on a few hours overnight.
Yeah.
Also.
So Channel 19, they also
You know
play.
how you know how this can be fixed, Ty? You can watch Netflix.
Well, I'd say Malcolm in the Middle is like one of the most nostalgic type shows out there for me.
For us, yeah.
Yeah, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, it
It
was
just
when
makes
we
me
were,
think of like growing up as a kid and just like kind of all the trouble you get into and all the stupid stuff. And it's just They really play like what was going on in the 90s, early 2000s well, too.
So it's almost like...
It's really...
It's like the Goldbergs, but more relevant to us because
Yeah.
it was set during a
The
time
time
that we
we
grew
were
up in.
Just like the music and
Yeah.
the food they...
that's how I
clothes.
Now I'm
I'll be like,
definitely-
I think I had that stupid striped shirt from Old Navy, you know what I mean?
That Dewey was wearing.
Yeah.
I gotta go watch that now.
The way
so
I
good.
stumbled upon it, I was actually, and I don't do this like ever. I was flipping through the channels. Now that we got cable, we have the TV guide. You don't flip through
Yeah,
the channels.
yeah.
I flipped through and I heard the theme song. I'm like,
Oh, I love
I'm
that.
You know what?
because what else would you watch Channel 19?
No.
We've got that 70s show, which obviously set in the 70s. You got the Goldbergs as the 80s. We need something that takes us back to the
The
90s.
259 show.
Like that 70s show should come back now as that 90s show. If we could find out what happened to everyone.
So
That's our only item on TV talk this week. We've got a lot of things on our food talk.
under Food Talk, we mentioned the last couple of weeks the April 20th Parma Pizza Party.
It's not the playoff.
It's the pizza party now.
Okay.
From what I saw. I haven't registered us yet because there is a schedule conflict. Hilton Cadet Baseball hosts a home game that week, or that day.
Drew, I will bet good money that game gets rained out. I mean, obviously you won't
Yes.
know until that day, but...
Now the thing is, would you go and at least collect my pizza for me? Because I won't be there right at 6. I could get there closer
It's
to
only
7.
fair. I mean, you guys did hold on to my pizza at the Gates event.
And you never showed up that day.
Oh, I showed up.
Oh, was it the first Parma one Tyler didn't show up to?
I told you I wasn't going to be there.
I don't believe you told us.
Oh, I most certainly did.
All right, boys, simmer down.
But anywho.
Mike, are you still going?
I don't know if I'll be able to go. It's my roommate's birthday that day, so I'll have to get back to you.
Bring the roomie.
Not a big pizza guy.
What?
I know. Trust me,
Mike,
guys.
you are picking the wrong person.
We'll see. We'll
Not
see.
spend the rest of your life with that person, Mike.
Thought he was the one.
Also, guys, this past week I went up to Wegmans, up to the Mount Reed Wegmans. It's on my way home from work, and I'll stop from time to time. And I get in the shortest checkout line possible. This was Thursday afternoon, so it's packed at 4 o'clock, right? Everybody's getting their stuff.
Kevin
they
working?
need. I don't know.
Kevin's there.
But anywho, I get in the shortest line possible. Of course, the lady in front of me is paying with a check. It's like a 10-minute process.
My mom still does that.
Really?
Yes.
She pays with a check?
She will not get a debit
You
card.
West Side Italian women.
Wait,
She will
really?
not
She
pay.
refuses to get a debit card, so you just pay with checks?
Yeah, I don't know. She has cash. I don't know, but she's still uses checks.
Checks
I know
at
that.
Wegmans?
I don't know how often, but she still uses checks. Yes.
So anyway, this lady's paying a check, so this makes it so I gotta wait like 5-10
See,
minutes.
Mom, if you're listening,
So
look what you're doing to everybody.
have you noticed Wegmans has gotten rid of like the candy bars and the checkouts? It's all the Wegmans healthy food stuff.
Oh yeah,
At
least, like,
the transition
the
to
high-level
all
stuff.
Yeah.
So there's this one thing. It's like salted caramel cookie pieces or something. Like that sounds really good. So I look at it and I open. It's got like a cardboard sleeve, and I pull.
the bag?
No, it's a cardboard sleeve. I pulled the plastic tray out to like look at what it is. It was like pumpkin seeds with like caramel spice. Like no, this is awful.
Flax seeds.
Yeah,
chia seeds.
no thanks. So that's how I spent my time at Wegmans.
You didn't get
But
Brothers All Natural freeze dried fruit crisps?
Oh.
I didn't see those there. Are they there?
Yeah, they should be on the checkout counter.
Are they under Wegmans brand?
No.
Oh. Anywho, that brought up the conversation this week amongst us of our favorite Wegmans location.
And we asked you, the listeners, to weigh in, and only 2 people did.
Yeah, all 2 of our
I think we've
listeners
talked.
weighed
Uncle
in.
Norm?
We've talked about this.
Uncle Norm Fowler
Yep.
weighed in, and Amanda.
I'm pretty sure we did mention, we have talked about this before.
I think it's been a power ranking.
We did Wegmans
See, I was kind
items.
of hoping that more people would weigh in about their favorite or least favorite Wegmans store.
But my favorite, I don't know. It's hard to say. I was at the Pittsford Wegmans 2 months ago. They have a whole aisle for aprons there, which is ridiculous.
still have never been.
Alright, Pittsford
I
Wegmans.
think it's so easy to like the Pittsburgh Wegmans because it's like on steroids.
You can't
but
beat the selection there, but the traffic nightmare that it is getting in and out of there.
Oh, come on.
Now I gotta
Like-
there are. It's fairly easy to get in and out of any Wegmans, but so it comes down to this.
Not East Avenue.
There's only like very slight differential things that are separating these Wegmans. Because, I mean, they've all got a lot of the same stuff. Some have a little bit more, some have a little bit less.
Yeah.
It comes down to a small thing like how quickly can you get in and out of the store that separates these
All
Wegmans.
comes down to efficiency.
It does, Mike. It does.
Look, when I worked at the Villa, I would go to the Mount Reed Wegmans every morning for breakfast, and I was in and out of there in 4 to 5 minutes. Big fan of the Mount Reed Wegmans.
I like the Mount Reed.
The Mount Reed
Wegmans. I
one
think
is
it's up
quick.
there. Yeah,
I
it's
do
nice.
like that.
It is a little difficult, relatively speaking, to get out of there because you can't just like pull them out right out on the Mount Reed. You got to like go around a little bit and then wait at the light.
You can pull right out on Mount Reed. There's that one.
If you
one
go
on
on
the
the
back.
side,
Yeah,
yeah.
the side.
Yeah.
You got to
But,
know where to go, Ty.
One of my favorite Wegmans is the Canandaigua Wegmans, which has been relatively it's not new, but it's been remodeled to the point where it's right in the same category as
Yeah, I
Pittsburgh.
mean,
where
you
it's
go there a lot. I've only been
huge.
there a couple of times.
It is ginormous. You could spend a lot of time just walking around in that one.
Yeah. Well, I think the Canandaigua Wegmans used to be a little further down the road, like at the corner, and then they must have built a new one.
That is
I don't know
correct.
when they did that, but
So, here's ready for this. You guys are going to kill me. My unpopular opinion, Wegmans is overrated. Now,
Stop. Get it out of here.
Whoa,
Get 'em off the
Let
show.
me explain. Wegmans
Bye.
as
Bye,
a grocery
Drew.
store is overrated. Wegmans subs are still great. So, a couple of the Wegmans items are great. Grocery store wise,
so what's your
What don't you like
Again,
about it?
it's
What's your beef? Yeah.
there's never a quick time to go to Wegmans. If you go on the weekends, you're spending hours.
Oh no, you go at 6:30 a.m.
If you go during normal times on the weekends, you're spending hours. The parking lots
No, Drew,
are a
but why?
mess.
So, other than hours, are you saying the selection is bad for a grocery store?
It's more expensive than I've found.
I don't think so, man. Like, they have their own brand of goods that are usually cheaper than things at, like, Tops.
Tops
know.
is more expensive than
I
Wegmans.
don't know.
And, I mean, unless
Look,
you want to buy like
as-
8 boxes of crackers like my dad does, then you can get a good deal at Tops.
Yeah.
But
And for somebody who lives in the village of Hilton, there's not a Wegmans near me. I have to go out of my way, make it an event to go
no,
to
you can get there in 11, 12 minutes.
Okay.
Right,
that's
look,
11,
it's not,
12
like
minutes
I,
back.
I do not have the luxury of Wegmans anymore, and I have to go. I go to a fruit stand, I go to a grocery store. I can't get subs in my grocery store, right? Like, it's like,
Well, you
Wegmans
chose to live in
is
New York City, Joe.
everything.
It's the one-stop
I did choose
shop.
to live there, but I'm still saying, Drew, that I have the distinct. I have the opinion of not being able to go to Wegmans, and so I can tell you how valuable Wegmans is.
Well, you're telling me how valuable a grocery store is that has
A
everything
grocery
you need.
store that has everything.
Which is Tops.
The
Tops has
one-stop
that.
shop.
Tops
but
is
not
30,
as good
30
quality.
second drive from my house is Tops.
Tops is convenient
Wegmans'
here in
beer
Hilton, but it doesn't
selection
have the
is bigger than
selection that
Tops.
Wegmans does.
No.
I agree that it doesn't have the selection. Actually, I've gone to the Tops in Hamlin. Because if we're out at Sam's parents' house, we'll stop there on the way home. That's huge. That's got everything I need. And it's never busy.
But that's the same amount of time away from your home as the
Not,
Wegmans on
not
yeah.
if I'm going to Sam's parents' house
Right.
for a meal or something.
See, it's
like
convenient for me because I just stop at Wegmans on my way home from work.
that. And usually when I come home from work, that's when everybody and their uncle is at Wegmans. I don't like it.
Then you get to go see people.
usually,
You love shaking hands and kissing babies. That's like your
Yeah,
favorite thing to
But
do.
not when I'm in a hurry to get something. I'm in and out. You get something. You get it
No,
done.
Tops is a good alternative to if you need a few things, just run in.
Yes,
and
it's just that
grab it and
Wegmans
get
set
out.
the bar so high.
Wegmans is if you need to do a big shop, I'm going to Wegmans.
And I also don't. I've known a couple people who've worked there. I think we all do. They're not the happiest people, too.
Is anyone happy with their part-time job?
But they always get those awards that we treat our employees the best. No, they have their employees vote for them. Like it's
Are these corporate workers or people that work the register that are?
the part-time people.
See, I usually
Yeah,
find that
well,
the Wegmans employees want
Who's
to put.
happy with their part-time job? Anybody?
I usually find that the Wegmans employees they will put. I mean, I don't want to talk to that many people, but if I need something, they are there and they are more than capable of doing what I need them to do, which is
You
just
know,
answer
I'm
a
actually
quick
going to
question.
agree with Drew on this one. It almost seems a little cult-like, or it's like they're being brainwashed into like saying that. No, I'm seriously, man. It's like a casino where they're spraying oxygen into the place. It's like they're just like drink the magic goo of Wegmans, man.
What do you mean they have them do dance breaks or stretch breaks, whatever they do?
That's all part of the process of getting you brainwashed, Mike.
So it's one of those things where, and I wish Wegmans got better with some of their items. Wegmans subs are phenomenal. Wegmans pizza, however,
Some of the pizza is pretty good.
but
Some of it is
awful.
average.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's awful, but some of it
I mean,
is.
it's grocery store pizza.
I know, but you'd think they would up their pizza game or something like that.
Do they have to? I don't know.
As we have found out by doing the Gates Pizza, whatever it was
Playoff
called,
party playoff.
people like mediocre pizza, Drew.
We won't mention who won that year.
But anywho, I gotta say, Amanda weighed in. She said that her favorite Wegmans was the one in Penfield on 441, which of course we have probably never been to that many times because of the Market Cafe there. And she doesn't like going to the one on Holt Road in Webster because she always runs into someone she doesn't want to see.
And John Strauss just weighed in as well. Mount Reed, yes. East Ave, no.
Oh,
Michael, that's your home store now.
Michael,
that's my new
that's
spot.
Your home
I
store.
found a good time to go.
When's that?
Like 5, 6 o'clock on a Saturday night.
Or anytime
Before
after
things
that, too.
Yeah. I've gone like around noon. I've gone around 2 or 3. Always busy. Sunday, go in the afternoon. It's always packed.
Do you ever notice that by that time some of the hot items may have been picked over by that time, or is that not the case?
A little bit. I just kind of get the staples. So anything like the hot items, I'm not really looking for. I get my cold cuts.
You got your gabagool.
My gabagool.
His
My
fresh
salami,
tomatoes when he's gonna make
my
sauce.
mozzarella.
A little bit of basil and garlic, you know.
I gotta say, I mean the Ladder Road store in Greece beats all my needs every time I go there.
Yeah, I grew up going to the.
I know where everything is.
To the Ridgemont Wegmans because my grandma lived like 1 second
Plus, you had to
away.
stop at like Pino's. And
Oh yeah,
like,
we had to
all
stop
those-
at Pino's. Yeah, my grandma literally lived 30 seconds away, right across the street, and that's where my mom grew up shopping. So as a kid, we'd always go to Ridgemont. But recently, my parents have transitioned to the Latta Wegmans because my grandma no longer lives there, so we're not really out on Ridge Road as often. But I like the Ridgemont Wegmans too. A little more industrial. It's a lot big. Latta compared to that.
The Ridgemont was the first I can remember that had a Market Cafe.
Yeah, they had my grandma did that for a little bit.
And the W Kids.
I love W Kids.
Free cookies back in the day. Any store really. Drew, I gotta ask you. I the few times I've been to the Brockport store, I've found it more than capable. What do you think of since you went there as a college student?
I would famously go grocery shopping Friday or Saturday nights after 11 p.m. because it was a ghost town in there. I would get ridiculed.
Well known for his late night Wegman.
Drew, would you like to come to a party with us? Nope, gotta go shopping. Nope,
Got my list, got my coupon.
nope, grocery shopping is on my schedule, so I will not be going out to your party.
But the Brockport one suffices.
Yeah.
I like how the one thing I do like, and Tops is the same way. The 24-hour, 24/7 grocery store. I like that model. That most Tops and all local Wegmans.
I have not found a Wegmans that is insufficient. I like the one out by McKinley Mall, the one that's nearest to the Ralph. They always had the Marco Polo bagels there.
A couple more things of note. We did, was about 2 months, a month and a half, 2 months ago, we made that pulled pork. The meat did come from Wegmans, and the meat department there actually did trim up the meat for us. So that's one part of their customer service. The meat there. The Big M meats used to be great. Tops meat, Wegmans meat, though, has been pretty
The biggest
good.
knock on Tops is always the produce. Wegmans is far superior in that.
And Tops also
regard.
filed for bankruptcy. But anywho, Mike, we mentioned East Ave Wegmans is your Wegmans of choice.
My Wegmans of
You
choice.
may have mentioned maybe the first program since you moved away from your parents, if you will,
My former
your former roommates here, that you'll find the future Miss Vincelli
Did I say that?
at Wegmans. I believe that's a direct quote.
I think I was misquoted.
Or was that Eric Luisi that made comment of that?
Maybe
I think
Eric,
Uncle
I don't
Lee-
know.
Nonetheless, this is an intriguing conversation.
Yes.
Mind you, I did not. Can I just preface so I can save face? I did not come up with this talk. I do not endorse
Do you
this
condone it?
segment. I condone it because I think it's going to be funny, and we're all about content here.
I'm sure my
Hashtag content.
but
Drew,
I'm sure my fiance,
I
who's
don't-
listening upstairs, will text me how many days until our wedding.
Yeah.
You need a date.
yeah, all right. I'm pretty sure Drew's just trying to get me. He doesn't want me to go stag to his wedding. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
He'll text me prospects every so often. It's
coming up,
He
Mike.
asks me how's
Your high school
it
crush,
going.
she's on the market. This is stuff we gotta. These are important things to get to.
So we're talking about Wegmans pickup lines.
We've prepared East Ave Wegmans pickup lines.
You guys all did?
I don't
I've
know.
got 3.
Mike,
I got a couple. I got a couple.
Mike, I've got the
funny
only one you need right here.
231 days.
Hey.
is the current count.
This is
Hey,
funny.
Molly, I see you getting the ingredients for pizza dip. You want to stop and get some mac and cheese and chicken tenders?
All right, Mike, you ready?
Yeah.
If you're ever in the produce stand, baby, if you were a fruit, you'd be a pineapple.
I like what we did there with the little Hilton connection.
Here's one for you, Mike. Do you like free samples? Very open-ended. It can go any way you want.
That might be creepy. That might be towards creepy.
This is more of a conversation starter, Mike. You're walking down the aisle with the crackers and the chips and the whatnot, and you look and you come across the Wegmans Virginia Peanuts, and you go, "This aisle is nuts." Am I right?
Joe, I love this. This is funny.
You, if you ever find yourself needing the accoutrements for a PB&J, you must be peanut butter because you're making my legs feel like jelly.
How about you walk up to somebody, hey, a pretty lady wasn't on my shopping list, but I usually don't stick to that anyway.
Oh!
You still got one, Tyler?
So, Mike,
One more each.
You walk up to one of the it's either register 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah.
7 items or less.
Uh-huh.
Well, it says 7 items are left, but all I see is a 10.
I think I'd get laughed out of the store.
And Mike, this is for when you're trying to complete the process and take her out. Excuse me, ma'am, do you have any raisins? To which she would reply, no. How about a date?
Oh, I like that one, Joseph.
And my last one here is when the Wegmans doorbell goes off for the stretching break. You can say, it's time to take a Wegmans stretching break. I'm a Division I soccer player. Let me help you. I think that's a good one there.
There we go, in my tight soccer shorts.
Okay, so you're walking up to the Wegmans sub shop,
And Mike is now
there's
a
a-
restraining order for me.
and there's
My
a
picture is hanging up in East Avenue Wegmans.
comely young woman behind you in line. You say, "Hey, what did the bartender say to the ham sandwich?" I don't know. You say,
What?
said, "We don't serve food in here." That's just a joke to start a conversation. Then you hit her with something like what Joe alluded to. Since we're talking about finding you a date, you say, "I need a date. You know where I could find one?" And it's right in front of your face.
It's efficient.
All right.
231 days, Michael.
And you can
Let's
say,
make this happen.
Can I-
"Hey, looks like dinner's at your place tonight."
Can I say a few that are a little show related that I'm surprised you guys didn't bring
I'm
up?
on an award-nominated podcast.
Now these are kind of just off the cuff. One, we got to use our drop here. I'm in the dairy section, and I go up to a nice looking lady. I'm like, "Hey, can you direct me towards the cheddar?" Another one. This is Jeff Diedrich.
Or you could start that one off by saying, "Hey, you want to hear a cheesy joke?"
Oh,
And then hit him with the cheddar.
the cheddar.
Hit her with the cheddar.
All right, I like that.
Don't hit her physically with the cheddar.
There's a man throwing cheddar at all in our store.
Or maybe I'm in Wegmans. I got a nice healthy selection. I'm trying to get fit. I walk by a nice lady and I go, "Have you seen my car?"
I love DT.
What else we got? I had one more. Oh, I something with coupon. Jeff's coupons or something. I don't have a funny line for that.
But,
You know what? A good one for you. I mean, just go wait out on the protein shake aisle.
Smoothies.
Just wait for someone to come by.
Should I get the Whey Fortress or the Whey Isolate protein, babe?
That's funny. So, Mike, you got 231 days.
Yeah,
buddy.
I guess so. Drew's really putting the pressure on me.
No pressure, but there is
I'm a
pressure.
little nervous.
And if Uncle E's listening at home, he's got pressure too. 231 days.
Wouldn't it be better if we didn't bring dates to your wedding? It'd save you money, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
it's more about the
Depends.
experience.
How was your experience at the previous wedding that you
I had
attended?
fun going stag at Tyler's wedding.
Hitting up Rado Drew's G&T.
Will there be a G&T station at this wedding?
It
We're
would
gonna
be
bring
in
it
the
with
bar package, so yes.
Drew's not going to provide it in his truck. We'll provide it in his truck.
No, we'll provide it at the bar.
I need the keys to your truck at your wedding.
What's that?
I said I need the keys to your truck for your wedding.
We're going to be taking a lot of pictures with the truck for the wedding.
Joe, did you buy the silly string and the balloons?
Oh, God, Tyler, not yet.
How would food noises work? My food noises work as pickup lines when I see a cute girl walk by.
Hey, you know what? If she's the right girl for you, Mike, she will
I see
appreciate
her.
it.
She's got a cart full of sauce and macaroni and blocks of mozzarella.
Hey, hon, where am I coming over Sunday?
Hey, you know what, Mike? If you're into the little bit of the waiting game, if you can be patient, you just wait. And you go to whatever section is that really gets you off, and you make your food noises. Eventually, the right girl will come along.
One will gravitate over towards me.
Yeah.
There's just a man sitting in the middle of the aisle making
Kid, are you
sound
okay?
effects.
All right.
Oh, moving on.
Well, thanks, guys. I'll be sure to keep those in mind. I jotted all those down, and
Thanks.
I'll
Drew,
keep you updated.
I've got a breaking food news item here.
All right, real quick here.
Jeff Diedrich brought this to my attention shortly before the program today. He tells me that we do have a replacement for American Burger Bar coming soon.
Yeah.
Is there anything in that plaza?
You got your flower shop. You got Abbott's.
No, sorry, not in that plaza. I mean, in that storefront. Is there?
Yes.
What's in there?
That is the news that we have. Of course, American Burger Bar moved out and they opened up a new location with a different name downtown. That has since closed as well.
Yeah, that didn't even last a year.
Which is unfortunate. They made good food, but we've got Whole E Roasters coming into the former American Burger Bar on Atlanta Road.
What do they make? What do they do?
It is a food truck. It is. Oh, I should have said the full name. It's Whole E Roasters Carving Station. Oh. You're talking turkey, pork, steak.
That's
You're
this
talking
guy
meat.
right there.
You're talking meat. The sandwich of the day. Oh. So it's a well-known food truck, and it is moving into a brick and mortar location.
Have you tried it?
I've never been there. So we may have to.
Okay. I tried Marty's Meats brick and mortar a few weekends ago. Not bad. I got the Big Country sandwich. Pretty good. I enjoyed it.
So Whole E Roasters, that's WHOLE-E. That's opening sometime within the next 2 weeks, so very soon.
You think you're going to start seeing a lot of food trucks open up little brick and mortar shops?
Yeah,
too?
the question is how long will they last? We'll see.
Yeah, double dipping a little bit. I don't know how if that's going to help at all, but very cool.
One more note with Jeff Diedrich. We were in your driveway last week and we helped our buddy Chad move some heavy equipment.
Oh, yeah.
And Jeff Diedrich came out and started shouting at me that Brother Weeze is the best, and most radio shows host usually isn't in studio for theirs. And he was trying to inform me about why Brother Weeze is the best, referring to last week's program.
He's just sprinting down the driveway with Natalie in one arm.
Weeze is the best!
Got Natalie in one arm, a Bush in the other. Sorry, Sean.
Sorry, Sean.
What else we got here, guys?
I got a freezing cold take I want to throw out
All
there.
right, hit it.
So this one is it's dated August 11th, 2017, and the original tweet was breaking. The Buffalo Bills have traded wide receiver Sammy Watkins to the Los Angeles Rams. Now, someone decided to retweet that and put her own comment. Wow, that dumpster fire started early this year. No, Amanda Diedrich. Into the playoff without Sammy Watkins. So freezing cold take goes after one Amanda K. Diedrich.
To be fair, there was
Twitter.
quite a big meltdown going on at the time amongst many Bills fans.
Oh, God, I was part of the meltdown. I was burning things, throwing my jersey out of the window. But still,
That's
it's a
funny.
freezing cold take. Freezing cold Twitter.
Freezing cold Twitter.
Pet peeve of the week, Joe. You want to keep the ball rolling with?
I would love to keep the ball
what do you
rolling. I
think?
got two things. I got to get off my chest. First is people who walk their dogs like idiots. Look,
I'm looking at myself here.
So I walk Mosby, 4 or 5 times a day, and I don't have a yard to just send him out to, so I have to walk him around the block so he can pee. Now, Mosby does not do well with other dogs, all right? And I know this, so every time I see another dog, I short leash him and usually put my body between him and the other dog. Well, okay, there's this lady who has these 2 Chihuahuas who's like, oh, I want to let my dogs play with your dogs. No, lady, look, read my body language. My dog doesn't want to play with your dogs. He's gonna kill your
Hey,
dog.
if you can't read body language in New York City, you are in the wrong place.
She just looks at me. She's got these 2 Chihuahuas running like a bunch of idiots. And by the way, Chihuahuas, it's just a juiced up hamster. Like, don't let your dogs get near my dog. It's not gonna work. And then the other people who
a sign to
upset me,
carry around with you that says "does not play well with other dogs."
seriously, exactly. I had to be like, no, he doesn't play well. And she's like, are you sure? I was like, no, I'm not sure. I sorry, I don't know. The other people who piss me off are the ones who walk like a half a mile per hour. So if I'm walking the dog and I see dogs like in the distance, so we're gonna inevitably pass them, I try to give them like 5 minutes. I'll like stand for like 2 minutes and let them keep walking, so Mosby doesn't like try to pull the whole time. No, they're just moseying on, taking their sweet time. No, it's not like they got a place to be. They're like, oh, I'm just gonna enjoy this tree for 5 minutes while I'm walking my dog.
Also, Joe,
Get a clue.
Every night I go to Baskin Robbins and get myself a little treat.
Joe, to add into that, people who don't pick up after their pet as well.
Oh, it makes it worse for everyone. It makes us good dog owners makes it look.
Oh,
makes
Joe's
us
got a
look
system. He carries his bags around with him, puts it around his hand, so that he's grabbing with the hand, but it's protected by bag.
That's how that works.
Yeah, that's how I think all
Hey,
day.
as someone who never walks a dog,
They make. There's like this little thing that attaches to the loop of his collar, or I'm sorry, of his leash, that has like 40 bags in it. You just take the bag out. It's like disposable. You put the poop in it and throw it out.
That's how
But people,
all
yeah,
dog
people don't
walking
pick,
works.
people don't pick up their dog poop. So A, I
No.
step in it, and
Yeah.
B, it makes us look bad.
Yep.
Also, Reba McEntire's voice is so annoying.
Smoky
I've got it right here, Joe.
I just don't like her voice. She sounds. I just don't like it. And her song, "I'm a Survivor." Like, get a grip, lady. Sorry, those are the things I don't
I
like.
can't tell you how many times the Smoky Mountain Barbecue KFC commercial plays during
I
NASCAR
hate
race.
all the KFC commercials.
Really?
None of them have been good. No. Why do they keep switching Colonel Sanders?
That's their thing.
Yeah, but why?
Because that's their thing.
It's annoying.
I
The
think
next
it's
one
hilarious.
should be Mark Schmidt, coach of the St. Bonaventure Bonnies.
Though he is the Colonel
He is a
Sanders.
with a Boston accent.
I don't. My favorite one was Jim Gaffigan when he did his.
Pet peeve. Pet
what do you
peeve of
got?
the week. Yogurt containers.
Why?
Every single yogurt container, regardless of the brand, it makes it impossible because I want to make the most of my eating yogurt experience. I want to get every last spot of yogurt that's in there, and there's always a little crease or a crevice that you have to dig into to get the last bit of yogurt out. Why can't it just be like perfectly round so that I can get?
I think it's
The
your
whole thing.
spoon. I think you're using the wrong utensil, Tyler.
I think it's packaging purposes is the reason why they can't.
Yeah,
make
but
it
why do they need this little crease in there? It doesn't. What is it for, Mike? As a packaging expert,
I'm sorry. Can you just read? I was reading something.
the yogurt containers, they always have a little crease or crevice so that I can't get every last thing of yogurt out without really digging in there and looking like an idiot.
At the bottom?
Yeah. Or on top, too. Like,
Yeah.
I like to scrape around the entire circle at the top to get all that yogurt off, too.
Probably so it stays stable in the line or something like that. Whatever their assembly line type thing. So they sit up upright and don't tip over. They need a little.
You know,
Base.
I like that. I like
Needs a
that,
little
Mike.
base.
Good guess. Good guess.
Thank you. That's my.
Good answer.
Another pet peeve that's bothered
That
me
is
this
an
week, and this might just be a
observation.
personal problem, but the light on my caps lock button on my computer at work has not been working, so I can't tell when the caps lock is on or off.
Do you know how you can tell?
Press a button.
Yep. Press the
I know,
A
but
key.
no, but
Press the.
when I write stories that go on air, it's in all caps, and then when I type like an email, I don't want it to be all caps, or I look like I'm angry all the time. So you have to do a lot of what's the term I'm looking for here?
Soul searching.
No, a lot of.
Do you call the IT department? Get a new keyboard.
I should, but
So you haven't.
we have a lot of other concerns right now, as you have pointed out.
Still
Drew.
happening for the last month.
Yeah. So I got.
Like, oh, well, the studio's still in shambles, but Tyler needs a new caps lock button.
No. It's not even a new caps lock button. It's the light on the caps lock indicator at the top of my keyboard.
One legitimate pet peeve that goes into the same category as Tyler is at my school district. We have to change our passwords at like every 10 to 12 weeks.
That's annoying.
I changed it this past week, and I don't think I've once successfully logged on in the first try.
That's got to be a lot.
The worst part is, too, you can't repeat the password for like 100 times.
Yeah.
So now we're just consecutively adding a number to the end.
Yeah.
Or just change what's capitalized in the
no,
password.
You know what
I
else
don't know.
sucks? I had the same Facebook password for like 8-9 years.
Yeah, so they make you change it.
so I never had to remember it. But then all of a sudden they made me change it, and now I've had to change it so many times after that. Now, after not having to change it for 8 or 9 years, I've had to change it all the time because I keep forgetting what the new one is.
Natalie, 1, 2, 3. That's what it should be. Natalie, 1, 2, 3. All right, let's keep the program moving right along. We are up to airtime. Anybody have anything you want to include for
Drew,
airtime
I see you
this
have a
week?
note on there.
Yes.
And then Joe has a
follow-up?
footnote.
I wrote, and I left it vague here. Under airtime, it says on our show notes that nobody gets to see other than Mike Brook gave because he still shared on here. It says
That's
AF
inside access.
hyphen on religion. This past week, I spent a good amount of time. Joe, you'll have to do the same for your Catholic service for your wedding. They give you a book.
Or a mass, as it's
Catholic?
called.
Well, it's not a mass because it's not going to be. We're not doing communion, so it's not a full mass. It's like a
Oh,
half,
yeah,
it's a-
quick and easy, baby. In and out.
so it's going to be like a half mass, kind of like a ship, half mass. No, a flag. Anywho, so they give you a book and you read through the different readings and the different meetings, and I spent a good week and a half reading through those and making some selections. Sam now has the book, and then we're going to compare notes. Just on religion, you guys mentioned I think all three of you really hit it hard last year, coming up on Easter. That it's one of the best times to go, and we're definitely committed to going Good Friday, and I think we're going Saturday for the Easter service.
The Easter
Saturday
Vigil.
evening. Yes.
Easter Vigil's a nice mass.
so,
it's long, but it's a nice mass.
But yeah, we're getting geared up for the wedding, and after Easter, we're going to be sitting back down with our priest, Father Bill, and really putting all the final details on our service. So
Drew's becoming a pious young man.
y'all will be there, right?
It's coming up quick.
231 days, Mike.
231 days.
There could always
Oh,
be Plan B.
More
too.
good news, Drew. Traditionally, the flag football banquet had been the week
My God.
after the championship game.
They rescheduled it.
This year, it is the night of the championship
That
game.
makes a lot of sense to me,
Yeah.
actually. Why stretch this out another week? Get it all over with one day.
I kind of like the extra week, but actually, this past year they had moved it up to the last week of the regular season, I believe, or it might have been the first week of the playoffs. It didn't really change how many people attended or not, so we're changing it up again, and it's going to be the night of the championship game this year.
There you go.
Anything else on airtime, guys?
Airtime, I don't know how I didn't mention this when we were talking about college basketball, but Notre Dame, I don't know. I mean, I think they are certainly talented enough to compete in the tournament, but I don't think they're actually going to make it because their record is not
No.
good enough. If they would have beaten Duke, I think they'd be in.
Even if they put up a better fight against Duke, too, I think.
Yeah.
It would have helped
Yeah.
them a little bit. They kind of got.
And that game was
blown
typical
out.
of how they played. Even though they had Bonzie Colson that night, it was
Yeah.
typical of how they played without him for most of the time. They would compete. It would be a tight game going into the second half. Then they'd run out of gas.
How long has Torres been on the team? I swear he's in his 9th year.
I thought he was going to be
Oh my
gone like
God.
2 years ago,
Yeah,
but yeah.
I don't like him either.
Anywho. So I mean, I hope Notre Dame gets in. I think that they can make some noise if they do get in, but I don't think they're actually going to. Or at least I'm just trying to keep my expectations low.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how I feel about the Bonnies being in, but not Notre Dame. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I got something quick. This upcoming Thursday, I'll be going to Comedy at the Carlson to see Jay Farrow.
Jay Farrow.
I'm pretty excited about that.
I-
He's funny. His
Oh,
impressions
that's
are
pretty
hilarious.
sweet.
Yeah, we were at Radio Social last week, and it's right next to Comedy at the Carlson. I was like, I was talking to my roommate. I'm like, we gotta go. I'm like, I just don't know when they have any good shows. And we were walking by, and like kind of the little projector was going off with
The marquee.
upcoming, yeah. And the first one was Dolph Ziggler. I don't know who the heck that is. I thought it was a funny name. And then Jay Farrow comes up, and then it
Yeah.
said March 17th. And
That's
so
the
we
biggest
were
name
really
I can
excited.
remember because we usually have them on. Like whoever's coming in that week, we have them on Good Day
Will
Rochester
he
on
be?
that Friday.
Yeah, well,
I'm wondering if we are because that would be the biggest
he's,
name. that
He's
we've
here
had.
Thursday through
They
Saturday.
added, I think, 2 more shows, too,
'Cause we
like
had,
this
uh,
week for him.
Oh, yeah.
Because-
It's Thursday through Saturday because I'm going to the Thursday night.
We had Gilbert Gottfried on the show.
Well,
and
Who was a few weeks ago, or maybe a couple months
We had the
back?
Sklar brothers.
No. A couple months back, someone kind of big was here too. I forget. That I would have liked to
yeah,
go.
I can't remember. I know that there was, and I can't remember who it was.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited about his impersonations are great. We were actually watching them during the week. It was just
It's like Eddie Murphy, Denzel Washington,
Stephen A. Smith,
Obama.
Kevin Hart.
Yeah, he's very good.
He's got I got the schedule up here. 1 show Thursday, 2 Friday, 2 Saturday.
Okay, they added. Okay, yeah, I'm very excited. And he's a pretty frequent guest of the DP show. He's been on a few times, and he's one of my favorite interviews that they have on the show. So
Yeah. Let us know how that venue is now that.
yeah, I've never been. I think your dad's probably gone a few times, but I'm excited. It'll be fun.
It's great from what I've heard.
Yeah, that's what I got. So that's all.
All right, and we end each program with some things. We wrap things up. Joe's power ranking topic is next week. Joe, what did you choose?
Your favorite Pop-Tart flavors.
Okay,
Pop-Tart flavor. I
I was gonna have a 25.
I don't know if I've got 5.
Then start experimenting this week, Drew.
I was hot about Pop-Tarts like 5 years ago.
I haven't had
do much
Pop-Tarts in a while.
I eat Pop-Tarts on the reg.
I like Pop-Tarts.
They're delicious.
All right, we end each program. We go around the table. What did we learn? Mike, what did you learn today?
Drew, I want to learn something right now. I need an update on Papa Bear's famous cheesy beer sauce combo.
We haven't gotten off the ground with that yet.
Okay, so I learned that Drewman has not started his beer sauce excursion or cheese
Not
sauce
yet.
excursion.
Not yet. Coming soon, though.
All right.
Tyler, what did you learn?
Drew is fired up for Easter this year.
I can't wait. Easter, here we come. Joe, what did you learn?
I need to start carrying around my checkbook when I go to the store.
Cha-ching!
Pay with those checks, baby.
And Mike, what did I learn?
Tyler made not knowing if his cap locks is on very complicated. I think there's an easier solution to figure out.
Need that light, that little indicator up there. Thank you for tuning in this week to the live edition of the 259 Show. We'll catch you next Saturday morning on the 259show.com. Go Lopes!